Knowing more often begins with a fundamental question: how easy is it to know more? Consider basic arithmetic such as 2 plus 2 or 2 multiplied by 3. These operations feel effortless to calculate because of repeated interaction and established neural pathways within the brain. This illustrates a core principle. Knowing more is fundamentally about familiarizing the brain with new information. While there is no truly easy way out, in the sense of avoiding effort, the process can become significantly more efficient and effective by leveraging methods that align with how the brain naturally acquires and retains information. Reading and writing are not merely methods of consuming and producing information. They are fundamentally cognitive exercises that profoundly shape the brain's capacity for learning and retention. Simply reading material repetitively is often insufficient for understanding and long-term retention. Engaging with text passively is much like watching a workout video without performing the exercises. This yields limited cognitive benefits. So, to genuinely assimilate new information, actively engaging with the material is essential. Hence, writing, particularly by hand, offers significant cognitive advantages that extend beyond simply recording information. Research indicates that the act of handwriting stimulates higher levels of electroactivity across various brain regions involved in movement, vision, sensory processing, and memory when compared to typing. This tactile advantage establishes a direct connection between perpetual understanding and motor execution, thereby reinforcing memory pathways and enhancing comprehension and retention. The physical effort of forming letters creates a richer, more robust memory trace, suggesting that for critical information, the traditional method of pen and paper provides a superior encoding mechanism, making the information more accessible for later retrieval. Imagery, also known as visualization or mental imagery, refers to the ability to create and manipulate sensory experiences within the mind without external stimuli. You might have heard this from most of the outstanding athletes. Well, visualization encompasses all senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, and is fundamentally responsible for imagination. The neural basis for this phenomenon is intriguing. When individuals visualize, their brains activate similar neural pathways to those when actually perceiving the same stimuli. This neural overlap explains why mental imagination can feel so vivid and realistic. The brain exhibits a distinct preference for visual input over verbal information. Research constantly demonstrates that visual information is processed faster and retained more effectively than text alone, a phenomenon known as picture superiority effect. Visuals enable the brain to quickly interpret patterns, relationships, and spectacle arrangements, which significantly aids comprehension and memory recall. Effective learning extends beyond initial comprehension. It requires strategies for long-term retention and efficient recall. This process, termed memorization, involves actively solidifying knowledge in memory. Active recall is a transformative learning method that significantly enhances long memory. Instead of passively rereading notes or reviewing materials, active recall involves actively retrieving information from memory. This process, often referred to as testing effect, strengthens memory traces and facilitates the transfer of information from short-term to long-term memory. It functions as a cognitive workout, making neural connections more robust. Even the act of attempting to recall information, even if the initial attempt is incorrect, has been shown to enhance subsequent learning. The ultimate measure of knowing more is not merely the accumulation of facts, but the ability to apply that knowledge effectively in real-world solutions. This transition from theoretical understanding to practical competence is achieved through active tasking and application. A crucial distinction exists between knowledge and skill. Knowledge refers to theoretical information, facts, and understanding acquired through learning and observation. In contrast, skill is the practical ability to perform specific tasks or activities, which develops through the application of knowledge via practice, training, and experience. While knowledge provides the fundamental why and how behind procedures, true skill emerges from putting the knowledge into action. The strategies of reading and writing, visualization, memorization, and tasking are not isolated techniques, but interconnected pillars that collectively form a robust system for effective learning. Reading and writing provide the fundamental cognitive workout, enhancing the brain's capacity for processing and understanding by transforming passive consumption into deep engagement. Visualization leverages the brain's inherent preference for visual input, creating vivid, multisensory memory traces that make information more accessible and enduring. Memorization, through active recall and spaced repetition, meticulously strengthens neural connections, ensuring that knowledge is not just acquired but retained for the long term. Finally, tasking bridges the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical skill, fostering true mastery by compiling the application of knowledge in problem-solving scenarios and breaking down complexity into manageable actions.